So a few years ago, this joke became very popular on social media. And this was about how we improve our math skills as we grow from primary school to secondary school to university, and we go all the way from basic operations to advanced calculus. But when we actually start a job and enter the real world, it becomes all about Excel. Now, this may have sounded like a joke, but in reality, this is absolutely true. But hold on, why is that? Well, in this video, I will share with you the reason and also the top 4 skills every young professional should learn in Excel if you're looking for a new job or trying to excel at your existing job. My name is Jamil Hai, and I've been in the corporate world for the last 18 years, and my passion is to help you build real-life skills for your job and career that they don't teach you in college. So, if you're interested in your career development, do subscribe to my channel. So why is Excel so important in a real job? Well, because most jobs involve numbers in some shape or form. If you're a marketing manager, you will be working with market share data, consumption, which is all about numbers. If you're an accountant, you will be dealing with balance sheets, which once again is all about numbers. If you are in supply chain, you will be working with demand forecasting, production planning, which is once again all about numbers. You could be an engineer, doctor, entrepreneur, and the list goes on and on. You will need to play with numbers in some shape or form. When it comes to playing numbers in a real job, Excel is your best friend. That's why when Bill Gates first developed Microsoft Office in 1988, he developed 3 things. Microsoft Word, because people used to correspond with letters. Microsoft PowerPoint, because people used to present on blackboards, whiteboards, or those old-fashioned slides. And the third thing he developed was Microsoft Excel, because all the numbers were done on tables, and Excel is nothing but tables. So now let's talk about the 4 essential skills every young professional needs to know. The first one is the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP formula. So why is the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP formula so important? Well, if you look at Excel's power today, it can manage up to 1 million rows and 16,000 columns. So if you do the math, this is almost about 16 billion cells of data that you can manage in Excel. Now, VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP provide you the power of pulling a needle out of a haystack of this data. Because if you know this formula, you can easily pick up certain values based on the criteria you define in rows or columns. That's why in a lot of jobs, when Excel is mentioned as a skill, sometimes you'll see in the job descriptions that the recruiters will almost go to the extent of mentioning that you need to know the VLOOKUP formula in order to perform this job. The second most important skill to learn is pivot tables. Pivot tables, once again, is a very efficient way of combining complicated data in Excel and making meaning out of it. That's why it's number 2 on my list. The third and perhaps the most important skill on Excel you need to know is how to plot graphs or charts, because people understand the data visually. Charts speak a much more powerful language than actual numbers, and it also helps you tell the right story. Therefore, being able to take a table of data from Excel and being able to chart it out in the right shape or form is extremely important. And finally, the 4th most important skill to learn on Excel is macros. Now, macros go a little bit in the more complicated territory within Excel, but it's basically a way to record your routine. So let's imagine if you are doing a task every single morning that you start your job and you have to run 5 different tables on Excel, update the data, combine them together and send it to someone in your organization. Now macros help you record that routine so that if you were spending 15, 20, 30 minutes doing a very similar routine every single day, you can actually record a macro, and every time when you hit the play macro button, it's gonna run those routines on its own. So you can literally condense hours of work into a single click or a few seconds. And therefore, you can be a huge efficiency driver for your company if you know this skill. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Do subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more career skills.